Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to be your general reading for February 2023. It is a general reading, so the messages will not resonate with everyone. Please check your moon and rising signs. That may resonate more. But in order to gain any insight into your own personal situation, requires a personal reading. You can go over to the About Box section of my channel. There I have the reading packages, the length of time, the number of questions, and the prices. And then you can email me at this address up here in the little box and let me know, hey, I want to get a 1 hour reading, a 60-minute reading, and then we'll go from there, okay? I have with me the Radiant White deck. I have with me the La Vida Sibilas, along with the Fin de Cycle. I haven't had to use these too much. I have had to use them across a few readings. We'll be wrapping the reading up with both an angel answer and a golden Nostradamus card. Grab your pen and paper because we have some planetary movement and action happening. If you haven't signed up for my Substack newsletter, my free newsletter, you can do so by going to the channel art and clicking on the icon. I just wrote an article about the major energy shifts that are about to occur. So tomorrow we have the new moon in Capricorn. Mercury, who has been retrograde in Capricorn, turned direct a couple of days ago. Then on the 22nd of January, the big one for me is going to be Uranus turning direct into Taurus. Taurus rules your personal finances. It rules banks, the stock market. We also know that Congress is going to be supposedly coming close to having the debt ceiling limit vote, and I predicted that it won't pass, it won't go through. And so this is going to be a really interesting one to watch. And then finally, we have a Leo full moon on February 5th. You can read all about those planetary shifts, the energetic shifts, if you go over to sign up to my newsletter. It is free. And it was the last article that I published, which is called The Major Energy Shifts for 2023. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around. Try to do it slowly because I'm still having some tech issues. I don't know what's happening. I'm having difficulty uploading the videos. I don't know if it's me or if it's YouTube. I'm not exactly sure. But either way, here we go. I've already done some meditation and shuffling on the Scorpio sign and glyph. We're going to put one more rifle on these and then lay the cards, okay? All right, here we go. First card down, Queen of Wands. The Hermit. The Five of Wands. The Eight of Swords. There's our Uranian energy, the Tower card. Wow. The Nine of Cups. That's quite interesting. So now I have two nines. Okay, next row. The 10 of Wands. The 2 of Cups. And finally, the 8 of Wands. Well, I have one court card, one sword, 2 cups, 3 wands, and 2 major arcana. Well, 2 things. The first thing I'm going to say is a spontaneous meeting, or a, what do you call it, meeting kind of out of the blue. That's first and foremost, okay? But there's a situation over here in the past that needs to be taken care of. Now, although this is a Scorpio sun, moon, and rising, we can all embody the qualities of the different suits. So this Queen of Wands could be you, in that she's flirtatious, She's highly sexual. She's typically looked at as the entrepreneurial queen. So she's the one that's running her own business, or she's got a lot of stuff that she's doing, a lot of irons in the fire. People love her. They're attracted to her. But this could also be your moon and or rising sign, right? It's not necessarily feeling as though this is another person, but it very well could be. So I would say in that instance, whether you are heterosexual or same-sex, this reading will apply. Whomever's going to take the feminine role. Even if you are a male watching this, you can take the feminine role. Okay, it's a more introspective kind of an energy instead of a more outwardly facing energy. So what is the over the entire reading? It is the Knight of Wands. Well, well, well. That Knight of Wands. For those of you who are new to my channel and new to my style of reading, I want to welcome you. For those who've been around since 2015, I want to thank you for sticking around. Let's start here in the center with this Tower card. Although it's one of the 3 dreaded cards in the tarot, the Tower card at its essence is about understanding that the structures that we build up for ourselves are not permanent nor solid. It is the only man-made structure in the tarot deck. So this is the idea of the structures that we build up surrounding relationships, jobs, finances, certain belief systems. Those things are not permanent. And in fact, at some point, they do fall, they crumble. Now, the Tower card represents the energy of Uranus, known as the Great Awakener. And what he likes to do is he's unpredictable, let's put it that way. He's a change agent. And usually he will do it quite suddenly, quite quickly, out of the blue, sometimes even violently. Okay? So I have seen the Tower card show up when, let's say you went to work one day, and then when you got there, they told you were fired. You're talking to your loved one, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, they say they don't love you no more. They want to be with somebody else. Okay? You're driving your little car over to the grocery store, and all of a sudden, the engine breaks down. Okay? So it's those types of things that we learn are not permanent. Okay? The card does not always necessarily portend something bad. And the reason why I say that is, yeah, it's crappy to lose your job, or it's crappy to have somebody out of the blue just kind of break up with you. But once all the dust settles and the debris has fallen onto the ground, what you are left with is a wide open field on which to rebuild a new relationship, find a new job, get your car fixed, or maybe get a new car, right? You're left open to do something new. Sometimes this Tower card can be the idea of aha, the epiphany moment. Sudden insight, sudden intuition. Something just comes to you out of the blue. But the reason why I say I think this may be a spontaneous meeting is because here with the Hermit, we're looking at somebody who I would say spends time alone and does well for it. Okay. Doesn't mind necessarily being alone. Maybe a studious person, kind of a quiet person. And then suddenly that is rocked. Okay. And as either the lightning bolt comes in and it's the aha moment, or the people are falling out of the tower, when they land, they not only land on their feet, but they land in agreement with each other. Let's put it that way. Okay? Not going to say in a partnership. They're going to land in agreement with each other. Now, for those of you who've been with me for a long time, you know I've always counseled you when the Knight of Wands rides into the picture, usually particularly under a Mercury retrograde, what we're dealing with is someone returning from your past. And I always say, you know, someone shows up from your past under a Mercury retrograde, they're not going to stick around, okay? They've simply come back in so the universe can test you to see whether or not you actually want what you say you want, or are you actually finished with the thing you say you're finished with. So it's like a test, okay? Now, nights always represent situations for me. And as we can see, he's writing an event. So, but this event is presaged by some news. The news comes in, and the purpose of the night is to move the situation along. We see him writing in quickly from the future towards the past. Past, present, future, past, present, future. So he's writing in from the future into the past. So this could be some news about something that happened in the past. It could be someone from your past coming back. It could be someone from your past with a message coming back, okay? Either way it goes, it's designed to move this particular situation along. Now, I have 2 8s here. 2 8s can sometimes be an indication of obstacles, hassles, and delays. The other meaning of the 2 8s, if I am not mistaken, is someone, you will receive news that affects the relationship. There it is. Okay? So there it is coming in. So this queen in the past has thought, or at least thinks, that she is in a uncomfortable position, in a position which she can't get out of. The 8 of Swords is the windmills of our mind. It speaks about anxiety, worry, fear, angst, turning something over and over and over again in our minds, okay? It is also one of the hoodwink cards. You know, did I do this to myself, or did somebody trick me into doing it? So sometimes there can be a sense of betrayal attached to this card. But the card says that if you find yourself in this position or in this situation, it's through your own actions or perhaps lack thereof, okay? As though you couldn't see and you couldn't move. But that is not the reality of the situation. In fact, if you were to actually do something, you can loosen the bonds, pull the blindfold off, and see that you're not trapped. However, if on the off chance that you, in a sense, kind of are physically can't do anything, the card says that your mind is free from restrictions, even if physically you're not able to move. So to work through the energy of this card, think about how you're going to behave or act once the situation is over and you find yourself in a position to move. But I see that for some of you, it is a heavy lift. Here is the 10 of Wands. Now, this card talks about burdens, but to me, burdens are never carried in front of us. To me, they always feel like they're on our backs and they weigh us down. So to me, this implies that there's a lot going on. Maybe you are doing stuff that you should not be doing for other people. It's also a 10, which tells me that this is a changing energy. In fact, it will be turning into the very wand that's being held by this queen and the wand that is being wielded by this particular knight. Okay? But something happens. Something out of the blue to either break you out of this situation, blast you out of this situation, or the aha moment comes to show you the way. But for some of you, that adds some additional things, because as you can see, from the 5 to the 10, you just added on, you just piled on some stuff, okay? And maybe it takes piling on some stuff for you to figure your way out of this, right? So the 5 of Wands speaks about competition. It is about everybody trying to get their 2 cents worth in. It can be fighting about children or fighting like children. I've seen the card show up when it says someone's playing head games with you. There's an indication of games here. Head games. They're saying one thing but doing another, okay? Which can cause confusion. And the inability to make a decision here. Then we come to this 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Cups is simply that. It's the wish card. And it says that, you know, you're going to get exactly what you wish for. But then there's the thing. Be careful what you wish for. Make sure that it is absolutely what you want and what you want to do. That you are A-okay with that. So we come to the 2 of Cups. The card of partnership. It's not just about romance. It can be a romantic relationship, okay? Two people who love and respect each other. Even their health improves when they're with each other. You know, they're taking care of each other and taking care of themselves better. But I've also seen this card show up when it talks about a new kind of business partnership coming in and ideas being exchanged. There's the possibility of new work coming in, all right? And then we see the 8 of Wands. Now, from the 5 to the 8 gives me 3 wands. This about making a decision or choosing to go forward with something. But the 2 to the 8 gives me 2 wands. The need to make a choice. Perhaps even some communication coming in. And we see the communication coming in here. So for me, the card that if I would pick a card would be the Hermit. The Hermit is not just a scholar. He is a teacher. This is the idea of either isolating yourself or removing yourself from a particular environment so that you can meditate and gain a deeper understanding or deeper perspective. You can learn new things. It is also, he is a teacher. Once he's learned whatever he needs to learn, then he can come out and show others the way in which they too can do whatever it is they need to do. He has the star in his lantern. Okay? We know that the star is a card of hopes, wishes, and dreams. It is also a card of healing, and it talks about peace. So, I've given you the 2 8s. I'm going to turn this Queen over. Now, there is a warning here, and I don't, like to frighten people. This row here, I've seen this card show up when it talks about accidents. Okay, maybe there's an accident while you're traveling for work. It is the 8 of Wands, but the 8 of Wands is also the arrows of love. Again, news and messages coming in. Travel, if it is travel, it is usually travel associated in conjunction with work. Taking airplanes, okay? We don't know necessarily what that, where those wands are coming from, nor what they're aimed at. We just simply see them flying through the air. So this card brings with it the energy of haste and speed, all right? So let me go ahead and turn this over. And let me grab my book. Here it is. We're going to see what extra additional information we can discover from the 5, the 8, the 9, the 10, the second 8 with these 2 cards. Okay? We will start with the 5 of Wands. Well, the 5 of Wands with the Hermit. Here it is. It is a message that you are to be self-reliant rather than depending upon others. It indicates that the issue or situation is your responsibility, and it is for you to deal with, sort through, and accomplish. So remember what I was saying, like you probably doing too much, you're taking responsibilities for other people's things. Well, maybe this is the idea that somebody else has been taking care of things for you, but now you've gotten to the place where you're going to have to deal with whatever the situation is. And this is why you find yourself perhaps in an uncomfortable situation. So that's the 5 of Wands with the Hermit. Okay? 8 of Swords. Now, I do have the 2 8s. It implies, I told you that it might be slight obstacles, hassles, and delays. That's not 2 8s. That's just the 8s in general. So I'm backing you up on that. The other meaning of the 2 8s is a slight concern in regards to a new partnership or romance. Maybe you've been single for a long, long time. Okay? That secondary meaning that I told you, the 2 8s, you will receive news that affect the relationship. That still holds true. So now 2 8s, a slight concern in regards to a new romance, relationship, and or partnership. So that holds true what I told you. It's not just about romance. It's new partnerships coming in. Okay, so that's our 8 of Swords. We go to the 9 of Cups, which never tells me anything because it simply says it's the wish card. Okay, and I have to look at the influence of the major arcana to see what's happening, what wish may be coming true, and whatever it is, it may happen out of the blue, but that may not be such a good thing if you're not ready, right? Okay, so let's move over to the 10 of Wands. The timing of this is the 13th of December through the 23rd of December. So this is my near or distant past, which could be yesterday to 6 months ago. This is the near or distant future, tomorrow to 6 months out. This is my present. Same thing, near distant past, near distant future. So let's see. This card tells you to reassess your plans and options. Aspects may be needed to be reassessed and reorganized before proceeding. It shows someone burdened with worries and stress and who is trying to do too much at once. Remember, that's exactly what I said. This card indicates that burdens can become too oppressive to carry, and you are warned of the difficulties which are sometimes incurred by not being fully aware of your own limits. You are asked to stop what you are doing and reprioritize. And this could be the thing that stops you. I don't know what it is, but it could be. Doesn't tell me anything next to these 2 cards, this 10 of Wands. Let's go to the 2 of Cups. Here with the Tower card, it tells of adjustments and readjustments needing to be made within a personal relationship. This could be caused by unexpected circumstances and changes, or because of stress or pressure caused by waiting for expected news or information. There it is. We see it. Hasn't arrived yet. Why? It's still in the future. That's the direction he's coming in. Okay. 8 of Wands. Nothing about the 8 of Wands. Although it does says, if you are waiting for a reply to a letter or phone call or even an email, you will not have to wait too much longer. If a situation has been stagnant for some time, and that could be the stagnancy, the standing stock still and having to wait. Okay. Says, if a situation has been stagnant for some time, you may be surprised by rapid progression towards a conclusion. It indicates lots of movement, be it traveling or even moving residence. It indicates travel in connection with business. It can be indicating that you are faced with obstacles and hindrances on all sides. The card suggests that you may be facing inner turmoil and struggles and confusion. You will need to remain alert and adaptable in order to see your way through at this time. So all of that holds true, but the cards aren't telling me anything. Okay? They're not really giving me any additional information. So I want to check on something with the Hermit here. He is a 9, and 9s represent solitude and isolation. It infers that you may be about to progress onto a new stage of life, but may need to first remove any difficulties from a current situation in order to be able to make positive progress. It implies that you may have recently experienced difficulties that have resulted in loneliness and isolation. The Hermit asks you to be more self-reliant and in control of events. This is especially true during times of worry or crisis. Help and assistance from others is available if needed. However, it is only through contemplation of oneself that progress can be made. That's interesting. That's what the cards say. All right? So, what I'm going to do I usually don't ever like to pull cards on major arcanas because they're kind of self-explanatory. But there's something I want to know about this particular tower. I've seen this card even show up when we talk about somebody having an emotional outburst. You know, they just kind of blow up. Right? Let's just see. Most definitely, this news is either about you or the message is specifically for you. Why? Because he is of the same suit as the Queen here. Okay? A sudden end, a sudden collapse, a sudden breakdown. Someone says something, does something, which can never be taken back. So a relationship or the situation can never go back to the way that it was before. Okay? The Prigione, which is the Nine of Swords, which is pretty much somewhat like this card. Okay? Finding yourself stuck. A sudden break, a sudden ending, and everything comes to a stop. There's more information about this particular card. And the Thief. Well, that's interesting. I literally had to stop and just try to figure out what the cards are saying. So give me 1 second here. I've explained to you the Morte card, and sometimes too it is a card can be associated with violence. See the match there, which looks like a shotgun. Okay. The Prigione. He is the 9. Anything that changes you to a situation or a person or an idea. This can be addiction, dependency, abusive relationship, physical subjugation, incarceration, or being prey to one's own fears. The card highlights a condition of helplessness and of being powerless to change events. Whether this powerlessness is actually real or just a figment of your imagination is typically told by other cards in the spread. Well, I don't see that just yet. It represents victims. Figuratively, it shows a great stumbling block together with impotence in the face of one's destiny. The card also indicates a situation of deprivation, of isolation, and of a lack of support. The primary meaning of this is the loss of a friend, but it could also be applied to the loss of a mate or spouse, but not necessarily through bereavement. The card acts as a warning. The Prigione. It warns of a potential loss of one's freedom and of situations of subordination and subjugation to another. It can indicate serious legal trouble with the police and incarceration. It is a card that indicates a punishment to be expiated, a difficult commitment that has to be seen through to the very end, humiliation, debts, the presence of enemies, and of an adverse destiny. Well, there's the enemy right there. As As a place, it represents any place we find unpleasant, such as hospitals or prisons. But sometimes it can represent a toxic family environment or someone who feels imprisoned within their family circumstances or trapped in a relationship. The card indicates isolation, solitude, spiritual emptiness, and the inability to analyze one's behavior to see where mistakes have been made. It heralds a change in one's daily routine, causing one to be confined in a place, either physically or mentally, that feels extremely uncomfortable, accompanied by unshakable feelings of guilt and shame. Financially, the card indicates poverty and misery on all levels. A lack of financial means, even slave labor, or work that you've been underpaid for. The inability to find a better job, feeling stuck in one's work. Sometimes tax evasion and debts. In love, it represents someone who is closed-hearted and does not know how to truly love. It can also represent someone who is single due to a heavy character flaw. In a relationship, it heralds separation and or divorce. Now, the deeper meaning of this card is that you're going to have to develop the tools to free yourself from the condition of slavery and or subjugation. As can be seen from the depiction of this card here, there is an unbarred window in the background. This is a window of opportunity. Then there are 3 steps. And the steps are, right there. Okay, the 3 steps. These are the three steps that have to be taken to solve the situation or the necessary actions. There is a banister. It's hard to see because my cards are so old, but the banister's over here. The banister offers support after the first efforts have been made. And finally, the vase, indicating the wisdom and the lesson learned. And eventually there's a way out, but we can't see it yet. Okay? But then we come to the Yardro, which is a very negative card, these 3 negative cards together. So I don't know if it's saying to me that situation ends because somebody goes to jail and they're stopped, they can't steal anymore. I'm not sure. Okay? But the Yardro is a card that's pretty easy to interpret. It talks about theft. Okay? And it brands a person or a situation with a stigma of untrustworthiness. It can indicate sometimes on a broader level. Well, first, it indicates a person who steals something from someone or their rightful owner. They can actually steal something physically from someone. Sometimes it is usually a dependent who is a great financial strain on you. On a more broader level, the card indicates contracts with hidden clauses that lock people into paying for something they do not really want, or contracts that offer little or no way of terminating them. The card is connected to the loss of something physical and obtaining money by deception. It heralds a negative change, a sudden turn of events for the worse. These events are caused by the presence of ill-intentioned people near you. Again, it indicates a loss. It can indicate a loss of any kind. On an emotional level, the card refers to betrayal and treachery. It refers to demeaning situations, immoral practices, or being forced to do something under duress, whether mental or physical. Financially, it is a terrible card, for it heralds a theft, the loss of money, loan sharks, extortions, money laundering, business offers that will be revoked, illegal activities, or obtaining things by deception. This indicates Ponzi schemes and swindles. Now, it says near to other negative cards, and these are all negative. It can describe someone who sucks the energy out of people, a true psychic vampire, or someone who robs other people of the good qualities and their self-esteem. someone who brings out the worst in people, who robs them of the awareness of who they really are. If this is you, then it indicates the shadow side of yourself, describing your darkest impulses and desires, which are always aimed at harming someone else. Yes, when the card appears, it always involves the concept of harm to someone else. In love, it indicates someone who is unfaithful and or someone who wants to steal your partner or you for themselves or for somebody else, you know what I mean? But it also indicates a lack of affinity between two people, whether in love or not. It too is a card of contracts and clashes of personalities. Let's see. Trying to see if it's giving me any other indication. It does not. Okay. So, there's that card. I really don't know what that means. So, I suppose, I don't know what that means. I don't even know where to go from here. I really don't. So, maybe what this falling on this card is saying that all of that is going to collapse. But there's something you have to do in order to, you know, if it were like this, I would say, yeah, the person gets their comeuppance and they end up going to jail. But they don't. The cards show up like this. Yes, it may be the end of subjugation and the end of someone stealing from you or robbing from you in whatever sense that is, okay? But there's still 3 steps that you have to take in order to get there. And sometimes the 2 of Cups can simply be the idea of you returning to your own balance of masculine and feminine energies, okay? That's what makes you a whole person. We all have masculine and feminine energies contained within us. And so could be balancing those things out. And that once you figure out how to do that, then events will rapidly move. Okay? So let's go to the Angel Answer cards. Formulate your question. That's interesting. The card says helpful people. You know, this card came out for, I don't know, another reading that I was doing. And I was saying to them, you know, even if it's something bad that has a card or that happens, be thankful for those people for helping you out so that you know exactly what's what, who's who. Okay? Sometimes, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Sometimes even bad things come along to help you. Okay? And I guess it's just a matter of, you know, the way you look at it. Your perception. Right now, though, you don't know what to do. Your Golden Nostradamus card. There it is. If I'm not mistaken, it's the cat. Let's see. We'll start with the helpful people card. This card indicates that it is time to expand your circle of friends, or you may find yourself needing to do some professional networking. Make time to branch out in order to create the personal or career connections necessary to be happy and successful. This card can indicate that your situation requires the input of those who can assist you in accomplishing the task before you. So this may include professionals in fields related to your question or others who work for or around you. It could also include people in your personal life who have experience that would be useful. This card lets you know that someone will be entering your life soon who can help make your dreams come true. Well, there it is. We saw the Knight riding in. So maybe this is a forewarning. The Tower card is saying to you, wait a minute, don't stop. The person's you're gonna be locked in with a thief. Because here we have this card. Okay. Number 1. That's very interesting. That's why I say sometimes the cards can be forewarning you of stuff to upcome. With sweet little words and a pleasant face, the traitor convinces and gains your good graces. An ill-omened card that predicts betrayal or must encourage you to reflect on trust that you have undeservedly placed in someone or in a situation you believe to be safe. In romance, it may predict unfaithfulness in love. Well, there you have it. It's some kind of relationship, and I think the cards are giving you a warning to just be careful. It says that you can do it on your own. So I don't know what that means for you, Scorpio. And maybe it is somebody been stealing from you and you end up having to send them to jail. I don't know. Hopefully it ain't you. So until next time, be well, stay safe, and namaste. Bye.